So, welcome to the fourth part and the last part of this tutorial series. We will import our FBX model directly into Unity. So, let's start. At first, I forget a little thing in the last tutorial. We need a new action, an idle action. So, with nearly every model you need this idle action, and the idle action is just the model idling and doing nothing. And this is what you need for the most part, because you can't say, okay, do nothing as soon as you start using an animator. But we will come to that. So, we will just create a new action. We are in the action editor. We create a new action, call it idle, and just reset everything. With AA we can select everything. With Alt RG we can reset everything so that it looks like he's doing nothing. So let's start at frame 0, and maybe we can create a little breathing. We just move the thing to 100 frames, and in the middle we will just move the head a little bit up and the neck so that the bear is breathing very slowly. This is done very often, just that the model comes to life as soon as it stands anywhere. We will go to the NLA stack, push it to the NLA stack, call it idle, and that's all we have to do. Now we are selecting the mask, we're selecting the beer, and we'll export the FBX. We will say okay, only the selected objects, and then we export it. The other settings you can leave, as I said in the last tutorial. Everything is fine as I said. Just export the selected objects, the mesh, and the armature, and the animation. These are the things that you have to click in the FBX exporter, and then you have everything you need. So now we can drag and drop our FBX export into Unity, and we will see we have exported the animation, the mesh, and the armature, and we already can see our animation in action in the preview window. And from my point of view, it's looking very good. So as you can see, we have way more actions than we actually created. We have these actions from the action editor and the actions from the NLA stack. And the first thing I do, I delete some of them, so that's a little bit more clear. And the idle action, okay, it's nearly not moving, but that's okay. We have to loop the walk animation, because he has to walk all over again. The same with the look, or maybe not, and the idle action should be looped as well. So materials, we leave it as it is. The wig, we can leave it as it is as well, and the model. Okay, we apply the changes, the animations are gone now. We can have a look at the avatar. It's there, the mesh is there, everything looks fine, the materials are generated. Okay, there's one unnecessary material, we can delete it. And the material look a little bit different than the materials in Blender, so don't spend too much time creating the materials in Blender. You have to redo them in Unity anyway, because they are based on the shader you are using. So let's create an animator. Right click, create animator, call this the beer animator, double click it, and here we name the first layer walk. In this layer we create a blend tree. So first we need a parameter for the blend tree, calling speed. We will come to this in the coding. We will set this in the coding, and then we can create a blend tree, and we see there's already a transition between the entry and the blend tree. Double click the entry, you see in the breadcrumb menu that we are one level deeper. we are selecting speed as the parameter, add 2 parameters, and now we can drag and drop the animations to the motions and say, okay, we want to blend between idle and walk. So, and now we can test this. So, here you can see now the bear is idling and it slowly begin to walk, and it slowly stop walking as soon as we decrease the speed. So, the animations are blend over each other. That's why it's called blend tree. And we don't have to model every speed animation in Blender. We create a second layer called look. We can drag and drop the look animation in there and create a trigger for look. Because every time we start the trigger, the look animation should be played. So, we have to create a new transition because it's the default one we played always. I think we have to redo it. So at first the idle, and then the look animation, because idle should be the default one and the look only if the trigger is selected. We make a transition and click the transition to see the transition details and create a condition with this start look. As soon as start look is triggered, the start look is fired and the animation is played. So you can see it's playing very good. So now we create a transition back, and the transition has an exit time. This means as soon as look is played completely, it goes back into idle. Okay, now we have 2 different layers and we have to specify the weight of the layer. So the first layer has a weight 1 and the second has a weight 0. And we can choose if we want to additive or override the layer and the weight of the layer. This means if we, for example, rotate by 90 degrees in the first layer and on the second layer we do this as well and we have additive, then we will rotate by 180 degrees. If we have override, we will rotate by 90 degrees. So in our case, it doesn't matter what we choose. We will create an avatar mask. And this means that we can specify something. So the avatar mask needs an avatar, we can import everything, and then we can choose which bones should be affected by this mask. And we will choose the head, the neck, and the head end, which is the end of the bone. And then we can add this, no, not by drag and drop, but we can say, okay, this layer uses the avatar mask. Okay, we can click on this, choose it, say override. This means the second layer is responsible for the head and the first layer is responsible for everything else. Let's put the beer in our scene, put it to 0, 0, 0, and this looks pretty good. Now we will adjust the lighting a little bit. Yes, that's nice. The fur doesn't look so good. We can change some settings in the shader, but I don't know. Maybe we leave it as it is. I can make a different tutorial on shaders. It's a very interesting aspect. Behavior between Blender materials and Unity materials. They are not the same, they are purely different. But what you can do here is you can change the material completely. You can make a white beer if you want to. Okay, we don't see so many in the play view. That means that we have to adjust the camera. Okay, let's set up the beer, add an animator and put our beer animator in it, and It doesn't affect the beer right now because we don't have any scripts or something like that. I will show you in a minute. Let's set the camera to the position where we can see anything. That's a good position. Let's rotate it a little bit. We'll play a little bit around. Okay, looks fine. Game view on the left, animator on the right, or no, it's completely different. Animator on the left, game on the right. You see as I pull the trigger or change the speed, our beer is moving and shaking the heads. Now I can show you how to do it with a script. I create a script called my script and I open Visual Studio to show you how to set the trigger and the float values of the animator by script. At first we will go to update, say if input dot, how was it called, get key down, A, then we have to do something with our component, which means get component ani. Let me have a look how it's called. I select the object, have a look. Oh, it's called animator. Get component animator, and this has a method called set trigger. And the trigger we called, let me have a look. We select the animator. There we go. Let's copy and paste it. Start look. We copy this as well. How do I set the speed? The best way would be to get the component and say set float. At first we have to input the name, like speed. And it's dependent, the second value, parameter value, is the value. So we take it from input get axis and then horizontal. Or vertical. Maybe vertical is a little bit better. So now I should be able to see something. You can see it in the animator as well if you modify it via script. Okay, nothing happens. Let me have a look. Oh, I have to do it with a lowercase a. Recompile. Press A. Doesn't. Yeah. Okay. It takes some time. You see that on the left, the idle is completely running till the end. I think we have to uncheck this. Has exit time. This means it will directly fire the start look as soon as it is set. Okay. Now it works. I press A. He's shaking the head. Okay. A, shaking the head. You can see it. As soon as look is fired and completely played, it goes back. I can move forward and then you see him walking, and I can do both things in parallel because the blend mask just handles this. The blend mask says, okay, takes the second layer for the head and the first layer for the rest. And here you can see in the blend tree how the blend tree blends between the walk and the idle animation. Yeah, that's basically it. That's how you can animate the beer. The thing is, the beer is standing on one point, so the animation never affects the movement of the beer. We can do this via transform position plus equals vector 3 forward times time delta time. Then he's moving. Okay, maybe a little bit faster. And of course our axis. He should only move when we press something. Yeah, and that's it. So the whole movement things, there are controllers, there are rigid bodies, you can do it completely in a different way. You're doing the animation. There are two different stacks, the gameplay and the animation. Okay, now the beer is moving, and this is what I showed you at the beginning of the tutorial. A moving bear that is shaking the head. We come a long way doing this, so these are many steps, many things to do, and I covered a lot of things like the avatar masks, the animator, the animations, the import, FBX exporter, inverse kinematics, and everything. Like the amateur, how to model things, materials, and that's a huge field. But if you do it one time, or maybe you do it 2 times, you write something down, you get into it, and you can do it asset by asset. You're getting faster with every asset, and you're getting better with every asset, and that's the way how you get it done. So this is a tutorial series I always wanted to make. I hope you like it. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, or a dislike if you don't want to see it, or something like that in the future. So thanks for watching, and till the next time. Bye.